We are having our two very young speakers. They are studying in class 11. They are from Andhra Pradesh, India. And first is Sheikh Amazan. She is in the 11th standard, and we are having our one young leader and young speakers, Chekali Rajeshwari. They are both studying in 11th standard. They are school students, and we are very honored to have them here to have their ground interventions from their space and their area. Thank you. First of all, I would like to provide the floor with to Mr. Mirza Savit. So as we will move in the panel, we will like to ask how we are feeling here in New York. How are the things that we are feeling, and what you guys want to share with us, and what are the things that you guys feel there in India? What is the difference between your space? Like, what's your first experience being here? And then we will love to interact with our topic later. How are you feeling being here at this space and attending conference and being at United Nations? Are you feeling inspired, motivated?
I'm feeling very excited and I'm feeling very happy to meeting all these new people in this session.
That's great. And what about you, Rajeshwari?
I learned many things, ma'am, and I also interacted with many students from different countries at the Columbia University. And we had many discussions. We made them friends, and we also discussed on environmental issues. And I am feeling very excited and happy to be here and share my feelings at this international platform. I'm very excited to talk about my feelings and experiences with all of you.
That's great. Thank you, Rajeshwari. And I'm so happy, and we all are happy to have you here and to have your remarks, to share. And thank you for sharing your experience. And I hope that we all are friends, and they all are our friends. You made many new international friends, and I'm sure when you will be back to India and to your school, you will be sharing everything, every single moments at Avasi and at different places to your friends right there in India. So it will be a great encouraging moment for them all as well. That okay, our friends went to New York, they attended the UN events, so visited university, attended Avasi. So feel free to share about our platform too, because we are here to uplift each other. We are here to learn, and we look forward to have your more work in your state and your state development in terms of youth development and girls empowerment too.
Yes, ma'am. Just I want to say for all the audience, Namaste everyone. Myself C. Rajeshwari. I am studying 11th standard from the state of Andhra Pradesh, which is situated in southern part of India. Firstly, I want to talk about the role of youth in policy making. Youth are the future leaders of our country, and that is important that they are given an opportunity to lead us into a bright future. And youth have always been the driving force behind the social and economic development, and they will continue to play a vital role in the economic development and also nation building, as we were the instrument in transforming the country into the one of the fastest growing economies in the world at present. And out of these 17 sustainable developmental goals, there are some areas where youth can make an immediate action. They are the no poverty, good health and well-being, and quality education. Under this quality education, our state government provides us many initiatives like school infrastructure transformation, providing good food and increased student dignity, and many more, with a target to achieve the sustainable developmental goals well before 2030. And also gender equality. And I want to share a happy moment with all of you that our Parliament of India gave a chance 33% of reservation for the women in the policy making process, so that the world will be see the actual rulers ruling the world in the future, and the girls are the future. I think so. I will definitely say that girls are the future, and they will be the actual rulers of this world. The world is going to be see the entire totally changed world with the actual queens and the rulers.
Bless you.
Yeah, well, that's
and also the decent work and economic growth. Most of the
So he has totally transformed the state in the field of education. Especially he is focusing on SDG quality education number 4. So now, when I have requested for him to send students to America, So he told them, the principal secretary and commissioner, so to send the students, the budget is not an issue. They have to represent government at various global platforms, and this is just a beginning, to give this act is, will influence the lakhs of students in my state to pursue education, take up education in government schools, so that youth can achieve anything. So it's like a motivation for other students in my state, and also digital education. So we are focusing on digital education because in the upcoming years, so youth can change. So youth can change the situation of the country, development of any country. So digital education, recently our government has launched the international board syllabus also, and we are also implementing TOEFL training from schooling itself. So taking a TOEFL training is not an easy thing in India. So in the government schools, so we are implementing training for to get training on TOEFL from schooling itself, and that's a very good thing. These things all will contribute to the development of the youth in the field of education, because education is the only weapon that can change the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our government, my state government, is doing very good things for the youth development, and also recently I had a talk with the Commissioner of Education. So I told him about the Model United Nations programs. So we want to start affiliate with Harvard University Boston, so regarding the Model University programs, and we want to take the students to Geneva also, so to make them as junior diplomats and represent on global issues, and also they can participate in some global issues and send the reports to the UN also. So in that also, so my part I am trying to coordinate with the government, so to make this to get the access for this youth, so in the policy making and governance. And I'm very proud to say that I brought these 10 students, 2 teachers, and many other people. So it's been a big journey. In India, it's not very easy to get permission from the government. Even though our chief minister has given the permission budget, they are representing our state government at various global platforms. And after this, we have a meeting with World Bank headquarters also in Washington. So they also have invited the students to speak on importance of education, gender equality. So I feel that India is slowly contributing to the development of youth. So it's giving active participation, engaging of youth in various development platforms. And recently, so in the G20 session also, so there has been increasing in the allotment of budget for education. And yes, India is a most developed country, and definitely I feel I'm feeling.
With the mentee. Here we have 5 questions, which is a little bit along the lines of a migration trivia. So the first question is, how many international migrants are there in the world today? Is everybody able to get back on the same QR code? Or okay. Very good. So far, nobody has said 50. And we have the most. Can we? Yes, most are on the 281, which is the correct number. The second question is, when we talk about young people and youth, what is the UN definition of youth as per the UN Youth Strategy?
It's wonderful to be here. India, as you mentioned, is a great spectacle to look at in many ways. We speak about India as the largest country in the world right now, or rather the most populated country in the world.
Correct.
India got this distinction, I think, in January of this year when we crossed China, and today the population is around 1/4 1.42 billion, and of which they say that 50% of the population is below 25. So you can see that it does have an enormous youth component. Now, India has gained a lot of attention more recently, especially with India holding the G20, which is now become G21, thanks to India's leadership, and they have incorporated the whole of Africa as one country. I don't understand that, but anyway, so G21 has brought a lot of recognition for India for its capability of hosting it, and India stands today as a very developing country bent on improving itself. So right now it stands number 5 in the Committee of the Advanced Nations, and they say that there is every possibility of the country becoming number 3 in the next few years. So this is all good, but what is it for the youth on the ground? What happens to the youth on the ground is different from what the statistical numbers convey. India, as a matter of fact, was one of the 30 members that were instrumental in enunciating the SDGs, in around 2015. So when they did that, Indian government did formulate a organization called NITI Aayog, N-I-T-I Aayog. So this was primarily meant to implement the SDG goals that the Indian government was willing to work with them. So along with the Ministry of Statistics, they propounded some means of working and implementing the goals here. So for each goal, they brought about some indicators, and with those indicators, they were mapping the progression of the SDGs. And what is seen is that, over the period, like maybe 2 years earlier than that, so in the last 5 years since the promulgation of this SDGs, so until around 2020, the mapping says that, when 100 is the highest number, different states were able to come up to a highest number of around 65, and the lowest was 48, and the highest, the best of the states that were performing were Kerala and Chandigarh, which is the Union Territory, and then the lowest were Bihar, UP and Jharkhand. So there is a whole variation in all that. So what is apparent is that India is pursuing SDGs, and it is also championing the Global South. So the Global South is demanding their own rights for global climate control. They believe that the way in which the foisting of the global climate crisis on the developing world is not the way to go. So they have been, very adamant in that, or rather very effective in that too. Now, what is seen is, of all these numbers, the Indian youth represented by the unemployment number has actually increased. Right now, the percentage of unemployment in India is 30%, which is the highest in the last 40 years. So there is a dichotomy between the progression of the country and the employment factor for the youth. The youth has huge potential. The youth can transform the country. There is this concept called demographic dividend. Demographic dividend is basically when, if a nation has got youngsters or young folks, then the productivity of the labor is very high. So India is distinctively there. The average age of the Indian populace is 29 versus say 37 in China versus say 48 in Japan. So Indian people are basically young folks. Now that young factor must be translated in a positive manner. But if that positiveness does not happen, then it becomes anarchic. So today you see those trends also in India here. There is a huge movement here that has been diverted on tracks which are not really helpful. I am working as the president of an educational organization called NIA, New Equitable and Innovative Educational Association. So what we are doing is bring about good quality education for the poor marginalized youth. That's our aim. That's what we are doing, and we are doing it in a very innovative way. So we realize that the education that has propped up some of the best CEOs in the world, whether you look up Google's CEO or Microsoft CEO or the IBM CEO, multiple people here, 25 of the top CEOs in the world are Indians here. So that's a huge asset for India. That shows that there is that quality inherent in the children here, in the youth here. But this doesn't really percolate to the bottom. This is on a very slight or a very small fraction of the